Hey, Forcefesters, how are you doing? I hope you're having a wonderful weekend and enjoying this awesome show and experience. I know that myself and my co-presenters have been absolutely enjoying every panel that has been taking place today and yesterday. So I hope you're excited for this panel. So welcome to our panel. This panel is called The Hidden Gems of Star Wars Celebration and How to Find Them. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. My name is Jonathan Notman. And we and my co-presenter is going to talk to you about Star Wars Celebration. If you've never been to a Star Wars Celebration, never heard of a Star Wars Celebration, or have only been maybe just for a day here or there, this is the panel that you should attend. It's a panel that's designed to talk about the experiences of attending Celebration, some of the wonderful things that you can do while attending the event, and also to really enhance your experience. That's the whole idea of today's panel. So I hope you find it useful. I hope you find it interesting. And more importantly, I hope that you find it fun. That's the whole intention. So assisting me this afternoon, I have scoured the universe, scoured the outer rims, even Kajimi. Well, not quite as far as Kajimi. But I have some experts in co-presenters that are joining me this afternoon. Even one presenter that's been to every single celebration, which is quite an achievement. He's only missed one day in a Star Wars Celebration from all of the events that we've had. And that was only because it was so badly raining that day that he had to have a canoe to get into the event. So without further ado, I want to just introduce you to my co-presenters for this afternoon. So first of all, I'm going to introduce you to a young lady called April Ruley. April is going to talk to you about the various Star Wars Celebration panels that you can attend, how to get the most out of them, and really just enjoy that experience.
Hey, I am so excited to be with this great group of people. We have had so much fun talking to each other and trying to figure out how we can help you guys have an amazing time when you go to Celebration. See you soon.
Thanks, April. April is our resident expert on panels and how to attend panels, how to get the best out of them. Some of the panels you've probably never heard of before. So I'm really pleased that April's able to join us this afternoon. Also joining us is Jennifer McDowell. Jennifer is an expert in collectibles exclusives, specifically at Celebration. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, I'm super excited to present some information about collectibles and where to find them and some of the things that you may not actually know. So we'll be back in a little while.
Thanks, Jennifer. Jennifer has an amazing collection. I've seen some of it. You would not believe some of the things that she has in terms of Funko Pops and Lego and whatnot. It's incredible. I didn't know half of it was available. So we look forward to Jennifer talking shortly. Also, one of my co-presenters this afternoon is Mark Truax. Mark is going to talk about swag trading at Celebration and how to enjoy that aspect of the event. Hi, Mark.
Thank you guys for joining us. Sit back and learn as much as you can. Have fun. You're going to hear a lot of interesting things that have helped a lot of us really enjoy our celebrations. So thanks for joining us, and I'll see you in a little while.
Thanks, Mark. So next up is the legend, the man that's attended every single celebration, bar one day, an incredible feat. His name is Jeff Caffrey, and Jeff is going to actually talk about some of the events that you can attend that aren't on the regular schedule, the things that happen before and after Star Wars Celebration. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, I'm Jeff from LA. Hopefully I can give you guys some insight on some of the different things that happen around Celebration that aren't necessarily, on the show floor and in the guide. So hopefully I can give you guys some info that you haven't heard.
Thanks, Jeff. Jeff, I consider to be a Jedi Master. He's absolutely incredible. There's not one thing he does not know about Star Wars Celebration. And so finally, I want to introduce you to the last co-presenter, not last but not least, Mike Della Torre. Mike is going to talk to you this afternoon about our Star Wars Celebration group, what we do, how we share information, and how we just enjoy each other's company. Hi, Mike.
Hi, John. Hi, everybody. My name is Michael De La Torre, and not an expert at Celebration, but I have been to them, and I'm like you, so I'm showed up to some of the celebrations, but I never knew how to get the most out of it until I joined this group. So I'm really excited to share with you some of the stuff that I've learned from all the friends that I've met in this group, and to invite you to join our group so that you can get the most out of your experience of a Star Wars celebration. See you guys soon.
Thanks, Mike. That's wonderful. So just to recap, this panel is to provide you with some information about Star Wars Celebration that you probably didn't know that isn't on the regular schedule. Some of those gems, as we put them, that are there, that a lot of people don't realize they can either experience or take part in. That's the whole intention, is to enhance your experience and to give you the best time ever at Celebration, and to have you go home even more in love with the Star Wars universe. And that's the whole intention of this panel. And trust me, you've got the right people here that can talk about the various aspects of Star Wars Celebration that you probably have never even heard of. So I hope you enjoy the next hour with us. One thing I want to say just before we start the panels within this specific panel, could you please, if you have any questions, I'm sure that they are really, really burning questions you need to have answered. If you could hold on to them till about 10 to 15 minutes from the end of this panel, we'll be happy to answer them then. As we're presenting, it's a little tough to answer questions, so just hold on to those, and we'll give you around 10 to 15 minutes at the end to really grill us, to ask some questions I'm sure that are burning in your mind, okay? All right, so the first section of this panel is to talk about the exhibition hall, if you attend Celebration, the exhibition hall, also to talk about autographs, photo ops, and also about some of the things that you probably never heard about in terms of cosplay, okay? Some of the official cosplay, some of the unofficial cosplay. So let's talk about attending Celebration generally, the exhibition hall, autograph hall, photo ops, etc. So in terms of the exhibition hall, this might sound kind of boring, right? But it's really, really important. The first thing you need to do is prepare. Prepare. Get a hold of the map of the Celebration exhibition hall. It is so important that you do that, because you know where to go to attend various events, to see certain things, to get autographs, to get photos, whatever you want. That's the most important thing. I've attended 3 celebrations to date. Anaheim 2020 would have been my 4th. Even I'm still learning about where certain things are on the floor. There was one time that I actually wanted one piece of memorabilia. I didn't write down the booth. I couldn't find the place again, and I missed out on buying something. So it's things like that that can help you prepare for Celebration. That will enhance your experience. So in terms of attending the Celebration Hall, there are so many things there. There are an absolute myriad of things that you can actually experience. From things like Artist Alley, there are exclusive art pieces that are on sale in Star Wars Celebration. The artists are typically there. You can have them signed. You can buy exclusive things. That is a wonderful thing that a lot of people don't know about. On top of that, you have authors. There are many authors that attend Star Wars Celebration. Some that have been authors for many years in the Star Wars universe, and some that are new. They're typically there. They'll talk to you about their books. They'll sign their books. It's just a wonderful thing to actually meet authors. So if that's the kind of thing you like, you can do that as well. There are so many different sets available for you to have photographs in, and to talk about people that actually make sets and dioramas on the Celebration floor. I'm just going to share my screen and give you an idea of what these look like if you've never attended one. So take a look at some of these photos that I'm about to share with you. Hang on. Show the photographs, but it's no big deal. So anyway, as I was saying, there are so many sets that are available that people spend years and years and years building. They're absolutely awesome. There are things like, TIE fighters and X-Wings and all kinds of things like, sets from various parts of the different movies. Also, you have things like dioramas. There are diorama set builders that actually attend Celebration and lay out a huge diorama that you can actually take a look at while wandering the show floor. They're incredible, absolutely incredible things that that you don't really get to see normally from day to day. So those are the kind of things that you can actually take part in and experience on the Celebration floor. One of the things that you should look out for while wandering around the exhibition hall is to look out for the StarWars.com stage. The StarWars.com stage is hosted by the StarWars.com show team. They typically have celebrities or cast and crew from the Star Wars universe, whether it's from the original movies or from the animated series. They typically have them up on the stage, and they'll talk to the presenters one-on-one, and also take questions from the crowd. So when those things happen, keep an eye out. Sometimes you'll have one of the cast or crew that attend the StarWars.com stage actually wander around the exhibition floor. So once or twice I've actually bumped into a few people. I was lucky to bump into John Boyega in Chicago and to get a selfie with him. So that's the kind of thing you need to keep an eye out for. These are the gems that we're talking about today. Aside from the StarWars.com stage, you can also visit the Rancho Obi-Wan exhibition. It's the largest collection of memorabilia that is available for the public to see. Steve Soundsweet runs that. He has a permanent base in California, but for every celebration, he takes part of his collection and allows you to come in, take a look at it, and to talk to him about them and ask questions. That's just such an amazing thing to do. So moving on from the exhibition hall, you can also organize autographs. Now, whether you like autographs, whether you don't like autograph collecting, I would just tell you to experience that once in the autograph hall. If you are somebody who likes autographs, the key thing is, again, to prepare. Take a look at who's attending the celebration. And if you really want their autograph, don't leave it till last minute. Book that autograph. Make sure you have that in place. And then once you're in celebration or leading up to celebration, you can relax and you know that you're going to meet that person and get their autograph. One of the things about autograph collecting, especially at the celebration event, if you are going to book an autograph, take a look at the people that are attending in terms of the talent. For Star Wars Celebration Chicago, I was very lucky to book Peter Mayhew at the last minute. And sadly, as you all know, Peter passed away shortly after that event. So, but I was very, very glad to meet the gentleman. He was such a wonderful person to meet. And I was so glad to get his autograph. So those are things that you need to think about. Prepare, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, make sure that you think about what you want signed, how you want it signed. And, if you are having, whether it's a poster or whether it's an 8x10, take something along that can protect it. I've bumped into many people that attend celebration, have something autographed and it smudges or it gets bent or whatever. Either make sure you buy a tube that you can store a poster in, or buy a top loader that allows you to actually place your 8x10 autograph in. So those are the kind of things you need to be aware about. In terms of photo ops, you have the opportunity to actually have a photograph with a cast or crew member from the Star Wars universe. Again, if you're going to do that, book it in advance. Make sure you book and pay for that, because sometimes you attend the event and it'll be sold out. And if you are going to have a photo op with one of your favorite members of the Star Wars universe, think about what to wear. A lot of people don't think about, maybe coming in cosplay or wearing their favorite t-shirt or whatever. So make sure that you think about that in advance. And also, one of the cool things to do is a lot of people actually get a photo op with one of the cast and crew members, and then they book an autograph and have that signed. So that's a really cool memento from the photo op, part of the celebration event. So just make sure you prepare, as I said a few minutes ago. One of the other cool things to do at a Star Wars celebration is to look and attend at some of the official and unofficial cosplay events. They are legendary. Some of the cosplay events at Star Wars Celebration are an absolute delight. I would say these are some of the things you should not miss, some of those gems that I've talked about. There is a wonderful event called the Running of the Hoods, and that is based on a character, if you didn't know, from The Empire Strikes Back. When Cloud City is evacuated, you see this gentleman trying to escape from Cloud City with what is perceived to be an ice cream maker as a prop underneath his arm running. And so that event, cosplay event, is called the Running of the Hoods after Wilro Hood, who was the actual character. So that takes place on the Celebration Exhibition Hall floor, so watch out for that. We also have cosplay events for groups such as the Mandalorian Mercs, such a wonderful gang of people that are great to have photographs with. They actually march through the Celebration Hall and they let you know they're there. They're so loud and so exuberant, and that's something to look out for. Some of the other legendary cosplay events are the Slave Girl Layers. They are in abundance typically at Celebration. Always, a great thing to witness in person. And, if you can grab a photo up with them, they're such wonderful people. And they talk to you about how long it takes to make their costume, etc. So that's great. So, those are some of the events that you can take part in. or experience while at a celebration. And they can just do nothing more than enhance your experience and just make memories that that you can go away with once you're kind of finished with your celebration weekend. Okay, so that's enough for me. Without further ado, I'd like to hand over the next section of this panel to April Ruley. April will talk to you about some of the panels that she attended while at Celebration. April, over to you.
Hey, thanks, Jonathan. And I love Celebration. I love going to cons, but I find myself when I go to cons seeking out the Star Wars panels. So when I go to Celebration, there are so many that I really have to prepare and pick because I just really love to go to all of them, but you can't. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the panels. I'm kind of a panel junkie, I think, when I go to Celebration, and that is just my favorite part. I've had some of the most amazing times and met great people that are on our group. I've met them sitting in panels and just chatting while we're waiting for it to start and even after it's over. And these were panels that were not considered the main part, the main one of the day. Don't get me wrong. I will always consider the 40th anniversary panel the most amazing in-person experience that was well worth overnight on the concrete floor. However, since we now have the lottery system for the main ones, we got to change it up a little bit. I wanted to share some of the tips so that everyone knows that even if you do not get your first pick or you don't get into that lottery, which happened to me as well, that there are many other choices you can attend and still have a fantastic time. I do have my favorites, of course, which always will be any panel hosted by Warwick Davis. Now, if his name is somewhere in the description, definitely that would be, if you can share a picture, Jonathan, if that can pop up. But he is my favorite host always. I just love to hear him. He always is so witty, and he's just a funny person that makes the panel, they all just kind of take in that vibe. And so I enjoy when he does his panels. He usually has his panel and shares it with Anthony Daniels. And when Anthony is on as well, that's another one that I love. And those aren't those main panels, but there are usually enough seats that you can get in. And if you go early enough, you can get a great seat. And they pull people up on the stage quite a bit. So a lot of times if you go to one of their panels, you might get picked. They walk around with the microphone. It's just a lot of fun and a lot of community building, I feel like, at those panels. So I don't want to get stuck on them because you guys all know you can look those up. But I want to share 5 tips so that I can keep it simple for you. Number 1, as I mentioned before, you need to have a backup if you cannot get into that panel that you want to, that you have chosen. Make sure you have just something else on your radar so that you already have something exciting to look forward to. Number 2, check out the descriptions inside the app now we have the app that you can look at. Go online on the celebration page. Before you even get to the event, start looking at the descriptions of the panels. Narrow them down to what you think you might be interested in. And remember to think outside the box, because sometimes a title is not necessarily the same as the description. So just make sure that you're taking the time to be aware of the panel, like what it actually is about, and not necessarily you see a name and just kind of dismiss it. Number 3, that's really important, is location. Now, I know this past time in Chicago, wow, if you were in the panel that was outside of the main area, there was no way you're going to get across if you had an auto, you just had to make some big changes with that, with the way that it is. So the proximity of the panel to whatever you were doing or will be doing is extremely important if you're trying to do back-to-back events, back-to-back panels, or let's just say you have an autograph and then you want to see a panel. You need to make sure that you can get to that panel or to the photo. If you are still stuck in line for your autograph, do not fret, because if you prep, there'll be other panels later in the day, which leads to my tip number 4. Oh, thank you, Jonathan, for sharing my picture of Warwick. So number 4 is make sure you have made yourself a plan. Put your panel choices in your phone. Make sure you have something written down, maybe even a paper printout copy. Take a look at it, because when it all is in one place, you're going to have a way better chance to make sure you get to do everything that you want to do. I am not trying to make you work before you go and have fun, but to have fun, you got to do a little bit of prep, and it just makes it easier for you. For example, in Orlando, I had on my printed paper schedule to go to the, oh, look, he's sharing the picture of that I took. We were up in the front for Anthony and Warwick, and that was hilarious when he recreated the tape fencer. I can't even. That was just wonderful. But you really, if you have it written down, you're going to be able to get to these things that you want to do. And you're just going to have way more fun. If you just do this little bit of prep, it just makes it easier for you. You get the book, like if you don't have time to prep beforehand, you get the book when you get there. You are there for days. Circle what you want to have. Just take the time, because if you do that, it's just going to be a better experience. In Orlando, I had went to the cosplay championship with it was huge, and that was my first big one. I usually never would go to that. I wouldn't have time when I would go to other conventions. I would never go to that part. And I was so happy to get there early, and I had put that on the schedule. And I was in the front, and Ashley was the judge for the competition. And we were in the front, and it was amazing. She was fantastic. And my planning paid off for that. So I was so stoked that I had written that down and circled where it was and got to that one. And that was like my alternate panel, because I couldn't get to the one I was going to do before. So I would have never seen Ashley up close like that, just, in the front. Number 5, do not count on the fact that the non-main panels or later in the day panels, like those for trivia or the podcasters, for example, a lot of times offer so much fun with prizes, giveaways, swag, and even surprise celebrity appearances just happen. And it is great. You can, we ran into David Collins after one of his panels. And another example of a late night panel, I just wrote it down. I thought the description sounded great. It was entitled The Smuggler's Revenge, Kyle Newman and the Galaxy of Voices. Incredible fun. And all the guest voices were hilarious. I picked it because the description was intriguing, and I was not expecting that Sam Witwer, Vanessa Marshall. It was my first time getting up close to watch them, and it prompted me to check out more panels that were in similar form of how it was written, with guest appearance. But it doesn't say who. But every time I've went to one of those, there is someone there that you might have missed because you didn't get to go to one of the bigger panels. So it's definitely worth it. Meeting David Collins was really cool. Hanging out with him, he chatted with my son, and that's just not something you're going to get at the main big panel. You're not going to get that opportunity to stand around and talk to the people that were just on the stage. They're usually moving to the show floor to get down to that stage. So, you sneak into these little panels, and they hang out a little bit, and you get a chance to talk to them. So, I have a bonus tip before I pass you to Jennifer and Jonathan. When you go to these panels, always be prepared with something to carry your possible surprises. I'm going to tell you that's the biggest tip I can give you. Pins, posters, books, coins, sunglasses, Legos, figurines, Anovas helmets. You don't know what you're going to win. I'm serious. Take the time to go to these panels. Jennifer's going to share cool things with you, but you know what? You can get really cool stuff for free just for going to panels. You do not have to always spend a lot of money on the floor. You can get wonderful things. So, you never know what you're going to get. You just don't know. So just remember, if you feel like you don't want to have the time to, run down to a panel, think again, because you might get one of your most favorite collectibles that you would have never thought you would get. So I hope these tips have been helpful. And I hope I run into someone at Celebration and you say, April, you were right, because I like to be right. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks, April. That's really good advice. And April, as I say, is one of the individuals that I've met at over the last few months. That's just such an expert in panels, and she's really opened my eyes into attending panels and some of the fun that you can have, even if you're sometimes disappointed you can't attend a certain panel because you weren't picked. Always have a backup. Always have a backup plan. Anyway, without further ado, I want to introduce you to Jennifer again. And Jennifer will talk to you about Celebration collectibles and exclusives. Over to you, Jennifer.
Yes, awesome. Hi, everyone. I am Jennifer McDowell, and I am super excited to talk about one of my favorite things at Celebration are the collectibles and exclusives. Whether you collect Funko Pops or Legos, Hasbro, or VR games, books, or artwork, there are exclusives everywhere. And if you want to make sure you don't leave empty-handed, you need to plan ahead, as there are lots of resources to check out before heading to Celebration. So several weeks before Celebration starts, Star Wars will start revealing Celebration exclusives. And there will be a map of the show floor. So I'm going to show you my map. It'll take me just a second. So now this is the map that you get once you are at Celebration, but they do offer maps, and I print it all out, and then when I get to Celebration, I pick up a real map, then I go ahead and transfer all my handwritten things to this map. So then I can find where they are a lot easier than trying to think, okay, it's number 220, 22, and then it's like, where is that? So I have my Funko, a Toy Tokyo, Dented Helmet, Krypton Comics, that's one of our local comic book stores, Disney, Anderson's Book Shop, Bel Ray, because my husband loves the books, Pop Minded, etc. So there's a whole bunch of them that definitely you should definitely check out. And then so you want to sign up on the Celebration website so you don't miss any of the lotteries. I'm going to also share another thing, just a second. So this is, whoops, that's not the right one. Sorry. Okay, let's share the right Chrome tab, and then I'm going to not end up sharing the right one. Just a second. That one, but let's try this one. Hold on. Okay, I know which one it is now. Just a second. I'll know which one everything else is, but okay. So someday this will work. And it is this one. Okay, so this is an example of the lottery ticket that you get when you win a lottery. So we won the Lego lottery, and you would take this to the Lego exclusive lottery, and they give you a time. And so it's really important to sign up ahead of time, or else you will, you'll miss out completely on that. They give you a lot of alerts ahead of time, so you don't want to miss that. They'll have updates and for Funko, Lego, and Hasbro. And what you may not know is that even if you don't get the lotteries every day after all of the lottery winners have gone through, you can get in line for the exclusives. ask at the booth when they open up for the non-lottery winners, and make sure you are back in plenty of time. Stay close because you want to jump in right when it forms. They a lot of times won't let you jump in a lot earlier, so gotta make sure you do that. And then if you love artwork, there's an artist row with celebration approved artists. Each artist back to this. Each artist there has a limited edition exclusive, but what you may not know is that there are a ton of artists that didn't actually get into the artist row, so they will also have celebration exclusives. Sometimes by buying their exclusive, you get extras like extra artwork, you get extra pins, maybe even a DVD. So this is Matt Bush. He's one of our favorite artists, and he gives you like a ton of stuff. We got extra artwork, we got the DVD on how to draw Star Wars, and so that was pretty awesome. And then you want to make sure you have a poster too, like April said, so that you can bring all your artwork back safely. There are several book publishers that have their authors there to sign for free with just the purchase of a book. And I have my Ahsoka book, and so you have to have your receipt. And then they personalized mine for my girls. So I have that, and it was signed not only by the author, but also by Ashley Eckstein. She was there. So I also got a picture with her, which I was super excited about. And that is something that, it's free for just the purchase of the book, which is pretty awesome. So you can, what you may not know is that they are often out there, like Ashley Eckstein, Pablo Hidalgo, they are out signing their books, and you just have to get that book before the signing. You want to make sure you get there way before, or even the day before, because they do sell out quickly. All the book publishers like Del Rey and DK Books will have their signing posted, and I'm going to figure out which one it is before I switch. Okay. So I'm going to share the schedule that we got early on, and so this is an example of the Del Rey signings. So they have like Claudia Gray, Timothy Zahn, and they publish these before celebration starts. So you just want to make sure you go onto their websites, print out their schedule so that you know who your favorite artists and or favorite authors are, and where they're going to be and who's going to be signing them. They some might have they all have detailed instructions on how to get your exclusives. Some might have a wristband that you pick up in the morning as soon as you get to the exhibit hall. And exclusives sell out fast, so be sure to plan early, especially the first day when there aren't as many panels in the afternoon. And I really wish I could say that this is a foolproof way to get some of the exclusives, but some of them are very limited. We unfortunately did not get the Thrawn book. Del Rey was giving them out like, I think somebody in the booth thought, oh, yeah, sure, you can take 2 or 3 or whatever. And so the first day, and they had only 500. It was pretty sad. So be sure to pay attention to author panels as many times they have giveaways at the end of their panels, like the giant artwork of Ralph McQuarrie. So you definitely want to check those out. Another place to get some cool exclusives are the collector stage. And I do have, actually, hold on.
Hey, Jennifer, I just want to say we're having a bit of echo. I'm not so sure if it's your microphone, but we're having a bit of double echo.
Is that better? Is it? Echoing? I don't know what to do.
Okay, Jennifer, that's better.
Is that better? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Sorry about that. I apologize. Okay. I am going to share another tab that I have, and stage, and if you go, like, every day they have this thing called Meet the Site Creature Cantina, and they have a giveaway there. But on every panel in the collectors like realm of panels, they do have free giveaways, so you definitely want to be going to those. They have panels where you can get star tots or a piece of an exclusive patch set. What you may not know is that they have a free giveaway to everyone at the panel. These panels are also on the schedule before you get to Celebration, so be sure to check those out. And there are exclusives at the big panels, but what you may not know is that you can get posters and exclusives at the smaller panels too. And if you miss a big panel, wait at the Star Wars show stage. The coolest part of the Star Wars show stage is that they on there right after the big panels, so sometimes you can actually get closer to them rather than, if you go to the big panel, you might be like way up in the boonies. And plus they do t-shirts. So my husband won a Star Wars show t-shirt, which they shot out of the cannon. So this was kind of a nice bonus, and you can get right up. You can see the celebrities, so that's a pretty awesome thing. But my last piece of advice is that you just need to plan ahead, and I'm going to show my schedule. So we always do like a really detailed schedule, and my husband's really good about planning ahead, and I am going to share that. This is an example of what we do. And so the green, all the green spots are where those are the ones that we absolutely don't want to miss. And then the yellow or the darker colors are darker yellow. I think he had yellow and orange, but yellow was like one of the ones that maybe I was interested in. And then the orange ones were ones that maybe if we had time or we could get to them in time. And then the other ones were just ones that we might be interested in, but if we were just wandering through. But planning ahead makes a huge difference. You're able to get to so much more, and you can coordinate. One of my favorite favorite panels was the alien creatures panel, and that ended up I was like right in the front row. It was on Celebration stage. It was a really cool experience. And so I apologize for the echo. So I hope everybody was able to understand what I was saying. But anyway, that's my section. I love collectibles. I collect pops mainly. And then my husband collects Star Wars stuff. And plus these are some of the free posters These are some of the free posters that you get when you go to the panels. And we happened to get into the Last Jedi panel, but we did not get into the 40th anniversary panel. But somebody got into this panel, but not this panel. So we just traded a poster because my husband got two I got a poster, he got a poster, and then the other person, they had a poster. So we swapped, and it was awesome. So it's one of the great things about this group. That's where we learned about finding somebody. So anyway, that's my section. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. That was most interesting, and your collection is unbelievable, and I hope to see it one day in person. Awesome. Okay, so moving on, we have our next co-presenter. His name is Mark Truax, and Mark is going to talk about Celebration swag trading, and I'm going to be fascinated by this because I know absolutely nothing about swag trading at all. So over to Mark. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks for joining us again. Swag trading and patch trading are my favorite parts of Celebration. Swag, if you don't know what it is, it's something we all get or something we all give. It's meant to be made by people or produced for people to just hand out to anyone, if whether it be a button, a pin, patch, poker chips. There's all kinds. We've postcards, anything that you want to make or have made and bring with you that you just want to give out to people just to make them happy. There are a couple of groups that do swags. The swag crew would be the largest of those. They're a great help if you want to get into swag trading or making swag. They're the largest group, and they do promote of giving away your swag. They don't want you trading it necessarily. You're giving it away. You're meant to be helping other people. They also are huge on collecting donations and charity work. This year so far, they've collected over $9,000 to date for their charity, which is great. And I know Brett, who's in the room, is very proud of his group for being able to do that. You can tell some of the people who are part of the swag crew, they'll walk around with a badge that says swag crew, and they'll walk up to you. If you can just walk up to them and ask them, they'll give you whatever they have, a button, a pin, a patch, and it's great. I've had a lot of fun doing it. Nothing beats giving a child something, just walking up and giving them a pin and seeing the smile on their face. It makes you feel good inside, and you don't always get that outside of Star Wars Celebration. The other part is patch trading. Patches come in two major groups. You can have individual patches, or you can have a puzzle patch, which comes in pieces that fit together. Again, anybody can make a patch and give them out or trade them. They'll generally walk around with a badge also that says trader, so that you know that it's something that's being traded. They also trade coins and poker chips that you can have made. It's a lot of fun. They're in the fan area is where you can collect most of your patches. There are tables set by large fan groups from around the world. And a lot of times it's just a matter of playing a game, answering a trivia question. The Mandalorians last year had you do a dance if you wanted a patch. And if you're willing to do it, they're willing to give you a patch. They're not charging for them. The games are free. And it's just one more thing that you can do at Celebration while you're walking around, especially through the fan tables. Stop at the fan tables. They'll have posters up to tell you when their games are going to be. They have them throughout the day. And you can end up with some really cool patches. People make them specifically for Celebration. They'll be dated. Or you can find patches people have made for themselves. A lot of the larger groups, the Mandalorians, the 501st, they all have personal patches of them in their costumes, which turn out to be really cool momentums as well. If you want to join any of the groups, they're real easy to join. You sign up and they have all the information you want. They can help you with designers, artists, and you don't have to be an artist to draw a patch. It can be something simple. My first patch I drew this year for Anaheim, I drew it actually heading home in the airport from Chicago, and I'm not an artist by any means. It was supposed to be for Anaheim this year. So you don't have to be an artist, but if you want something a little bit more professional, the Swag Crew does have a list of vendors that can produce patches, pins, and buttons. They have artists that they provide, that they can put you in touch with that can do commission work. And it's a lot of fun. It's a different way of getting to people, just walking up to someone and introducing yourself and going, "Oh, that's a cool button. Do you have another one?" It's how I found last year to meet a lot of new people, and I've made some great friends just handing them a button that I still talk to today. So reach out. Swag Crew has a Facebook page. They're always looking for, and yes, Brett, I did dance. They're always looking for new members and new ideas. It's a great group. Or Star Wars Celebration, our group, Anaheim 2022. Look us up. You can find information here as well. And if you have any questions, reach out to me personally. I have no problem helping anybody out. That's why we're all here. That's about all I have. We're going to get over to Jeff so that Jeff has time and we have time to take questions. So, John?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. That's most interesting. And I'll have to take a look out for that dance that you have to do to get swag from the Mandalorians. Okay, so it's Jeff Caffrey. Jeff is going to talk to you this afternoon about some of the celebration after our events. Thanks, Jeff. Over to you.
Hey, like you said, I'm Jeff. I live in Los Angeles, California, and I've been, like you mentioned earlier, to all 9 celebrations, sans the first day, not necessarily because of the bad weather. Thankfully, I didn't have to deal with the bad weather. Well, the weather was horrible all weekend, but that was the worst day. It was a work issue, so I couldn't get the day off. The earliest I could get in was after work that day, and so that sort of was like a double-edged sword. It was good and bad, but ultimately, let me share my screen here. I've been, like you said, to all 9 celebrations in the U.S., and I have photo proof here. Denver was a sloppy mess. It was a fun time because it was so new, and we had no idea what was coming up with episode 1. You know, the movie was going to come out, I think, 3 weeks after the end of Celebration 1, which was at that time was just Celebration. There was no 1 attached. They had no idea there'd be more. People would like it or not. There was issues with the rain causing major, almost not major. I don't know how major. I wasn't there to see it, but I saw the aftermath. But a lot of damage to the vendor tent because of the fact that this was not a non-traditional venue. They had set up tents for a lot of the things, and the vendors were in tents. And ultimately, when the inclement weather that hadn't been seen on that weekend or date for 50 years or some odd thing like that came through, it caused a lot of collateral damage, unfortunately, to some vendors. So they ultimately got a reprise for like a discount at the Celebration store on the last day or something. But anyways, enough of that. But so like he said, I've been to every celebration. They've all been fun in their own way, different in their own way. I learned lots of different things going through, and including things that happen around the event that aren't necessarily in the convention center proper or on the show floor. First off, the first celebration I learned about that, I'd actually done. I had an extra badge for some reason, and I was able to trade it with an exhibitor. And I ended up with an exhibitor badge for like the last few hours of the last day. And the exhibitors and the vendors and all the VIPs were going to have an after party after the show was over. And unfortunately, I had to catch a plane and go back because I had to go back to work the next day. So I didn't get to go to that, but that was the first time I'd heard about anything that was, not specifically in the con. Ultimately, I didn't attend my own any kind of event until Celebration 4 that was here in Los Angeles. I was able to get into the Master Replicas fan club party, and that was at Henson Studios in Hollywood, where they do all the Muppet stuff now, and actually used to be Charlie Chaplin's studio. So that was kind of cool to experience something that was away from the con. And this was a very cool event because I got to meet David Prowse there, and Admiral Mahdi. His real name escapes me at the moment. And see some amazing people fight with Master Replicas at the time, lightsabers. And so it was very kind of cool experience. And so at that point, it piqued my interest in like things that could be happening outside of the convention center. And that was convenient for me because I was in LA already. But ultimately, I went and seeked out more as the years went by. When it comes to the different celebrations, you can find that there's anything from a party to a meetup to a photo op to any kind of impromptu gathering. some of the things that are really big at celebrations are the group photo ops. 501st, the legendary, the upper left corner of the picture, if you're seeing the picture, hopefully you guys are, is the first photo I took of a group of 501st members at a celebration. That was Celebration 2 in Indianapolis. The bottom left is Celebration 6. They spelled it out in black, gray, or black, beige, and red in the middle of the stormtroopers there. And upper center is a cool mashup that they did last year in Chicago. Myself and my friend are in that photo as Rick Solo and Chew Morty. There's, groups that aren't Star Wars, Spaceballs, for instance. A couple of friends of mine from that are big cosplayers and event promoters are part of that group. The impromptu Hut Slayer Leia photo in the upper right was at another after hours event that I'll talk about shortly. And they just happened to, I think they encouraged girls to come dressed as Leia, and they got a lot of them, and they were having fun. If you can see, I don't think you can see in that photo, there's a stripper pole behind them, and seeing a group of Leias on a stripper pole was definitely an experience. Lower right's just a kind of cool thing that happened to be on the show floor was a photo op that they had set up on the back of one of the game promoters, EA or whatever, for the Force Unleashed. So you could walk up and do this pose and make it look like you were, Force lightning some troopers and stuff. So that kind of stuff's always fun. But you run into any number of different photo ops from the 501st, like I'd mentioned here, the Mando Mercs. Some of them are actually in that center mashup photo. Rebel Legion, other character groups. There's, like this, for instance, is just a mashup group. There's Disney mashups. There's a whole group of Han Solos that get together. Leia's, obviously. Pretty much any character. The running of the Wilro Hoods is another example. They'll do a great big photo op at the end. But you look around, you'll find this stuff kind of happening on the regular. Usually there's a spot designated for something like this, and if you kind of just mill around or pass through the area, as you're traveling from thing to thing, you'll likely see something like this happen. It's very cool to see a group that large. But as well as the photo op type meetups, there's group meetups. These pics happen to be groups that I've met at celebrations. Celebration 1 in the upper left. Celebration 3 in the middle. We were having fun at TGI Fridays every night after the con, and they kind of had a designated area for us. Everybody at that table was part of a Star Wars IRC group, so we all chatted online and then met up at celebrations from all over the country and the world. Same group in the lower left. Celebration 4, that was Celebration 3, I believe, in the TGI Friday. Celebration 4, another group of people that could actually make it out to Los Angeles as opposed to Indianapolis, which was more centrally located for a celebration. So it was a little smaller group, but still everybody pretty much knew each other from the message board. And then just a group of people that I hung out with and have known from celebration to celebration and elsewhere in Chicago. So it's there's all kinds of different groups that will meet up. Facebook groups like the one that's put together this particular panel. Fan clubs, collector clubs, the droid builders. My friend in the lower right-hand picture pointing at the camera is part of the fan film group, and he actually won 2 fan film awards this past year. Unfortunately, they didn't have a actual event associated with the con. It was all organized by the people that actually were in and had won awards. So that was kind of unfortunate. But he won like best of show and best comedy or something like that. If you look for a fan film that is basically Obi-Wan giving Luke a more detailed speech as Force Ghost in the Dagobah Swamp. His name's Mark W. Gray. He put on an excellent thing. If you saw he was on the Star Wars show stage as well. So if you were around there when they talked about the fan films, he was one of the guys that got up there. But let me quit droning on. There's also lots of off-site events. These are the big things that can happen, like the 501st Bash. There's also any different number of things like where am I? 501st Bash is great because a lot of times celebrities will show up. You can see in the center of the photo, Weird Al performed at one of the 501st bashes. Picture to the right, it's not very good, but it's Mark Hamill on stage at 501st Bash 2010, I believe, in Orlando, and also Peter Mayhew below him in that photo. But other things happen, like upper right-hand corner, the karaoke that happens with Forcefest, which is part of this, the Star Wars Celebration 2020, Star Wars Celebration Anaheim 2022 group. So there's people hanging out, getting ready to go up on stage at the karaoke bar when we were in Orlando. One of the great things that happened in last time the celebration was here in LA was a thing called Club Cosplay, which is a photo on the left in the middle with in the middle of the cosplay contest with Fawn Davis and Grant Imahara as judges for the cosplay contest there, as well as Hip Hop Trooper without his helmet on. Anyways, also you can see the dark side grotto down there at the bottom, where the slave or Hutt Slayer Leia was, where they were working the pole. I just happened to see Kenny Baker walk in, which was pretty cool. But also there's other things that happen with that are organized by now Disney, like the events like last trip to Endor and the Galactic Nights that should have happened the other night, as well as impromptu things like Hip Hop Trooper throwing a party in the hotel lobby of the Hilton across the street from the convention center, and the Saber Guild getting together at the Bean for that amazing photo op. So a lot of cool stuff happens at Celebration if you look for it. Keep an eye out, keep an ear out. Great. Talk to people about what they're going to be doing. And I didn't even know about the hotel parties this year. I'd heard people talk about people finding celebrities or hanging out at the bar or whatever. But that was like a next level thing. So it's like everybody said, you kind of learn things as you go, and it's all gravy.
That's great. Thank you, Jeff. You looks like you had a wonderful time. So we've got just a few minutes left. So thanks for that, Jeff. Mike, over to you just to wrap things up. Thanks, Mike.
I am new to the group, and I wanted to share with you that being part of the Star Wars Celebration Anaheim 2022 group, which was 2020 when I joined, because I went to Star Wars Celebration in Chicago, and I just kind of walked around, didn't really know what I was doing, and then I joined this group in preparation for 2020, and I've learned so much in these past months, especially over the pandemic, and I'd like to invite you to join. I dropped the link in the chat. I'll drop it in again, and we're over 30,000 strong, and we have Tuesday happy hours where we meet virtually in the cantina, the virtual cantina, and we also have Thursday cantina where we have lots of fun events and prizes. So please be sure to check us out and answer all the questions, and we'll admit you right to the group as soon as we can, as long as you've answered all the questions faster than 12 parsecs. And so in closing, no matter what you do, whatever you do, you'll have a great time, because I went to 3 celebrations prior to this one scheduled, and I had fun, even though I didn't know what I was doing. but you'll have a great time. And if you follow our tips and join our group line, I look forward to seeing you
Thank you, Mike.
soon.
That was awesome.
May the force be with you,
sorry,
everyone.
we ran a little over. We didn't get time for questions, but if you would like to join the celebration group, we'd be happy to help you. And like I said at the beginning of the panel, reach out any help or tips, and we just want you to enjoy celebration even more than you would if you just kind of followed the regular schedule. So thanks for joining us this afternoon. Really appreciate your time and your enthusiasm, and may the force be with you. Thanks, everybody.
We can stay after a little bit for it just won't be recorded.